Welcome to the Draft Utopia NFL Digest Week 13. This is my December debut edition. Let's jump straight into the NFL games. Pick it up in Thursday night's game, the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons. Drew Brees, the bottom line is Brees was horrible in this game. 5 interceptions. He looked awful. You got to applaud the Falcons secondary for stepping up. Atlanta's was up 17-7 in the second quarter. In the fourth quarter, it was 20-13. New Orleans had a glimmer of hope. Looked like they still had a fighting chance. But Brees just constantly threw passes into coverage in this game, and it was a really anemic performance on his part. The Jacksonville Jaguars played the Buffalo Bills. The Bills would win this game 34-18. Seattle Seahawks versus the Chicago Bears. Russell Wilson, he throws a touchdown pass into overtime. It appears as a fumble, but the player crossed the end zone first. Seahawks win 23-17 in Chicago. Let's pick it up at Ford Field. Indianapolis Colts versus the Detroit Lions. Lucky late game heroics lead to the Colts win over the Lions. Andrew Luck fires the touchdown to LeBron Brazil to make it 33-28 after the Lions are down, leading by 12 points. Luck fires a touchdown to Donnie Avery to make it 35-33 as the Colts overcome a 12-point deficit to win. They're now 8-4 on the season. And my stupid AFC prediction had the Texans 8-8 at the beginning of the season. I had the Colts taking this division at 13-3. And many people have said that the Colts have been the NFL's surprise. But if you look at who they drafted, Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Allen, they got Mathis and Freeney on defense, Costanzo at left tackle. They made a power play move and got Vonta Davis. They signed Tom Zbikowski in free agency. If you study the overall depth chart of the Colts, it shouldn't come as a surprise that this team's playing so well. Plus, you have to consider the fact that Chuck Pagano's chemotherapy is uniting this Colts team. Arians has done a solid job as an interim head coach. All that has to be taken into account. Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers, 14-13. James Starks with a 22-yard run to give the Packers a 20-14 lead. Green Bay goes on to win 23-14. Carolina Panthers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs come out on all cylinders in this game after the tragic suicide of Jovan Belcher, where there was an incident involved. He shot his wife. Belcher then shot himself. And our condolences at Draft Utopia and the NFL go out to the Belcher family and the 2-year-old that was involved in the incident. Great team effort by the Chiefs as they take this game 27-21 over the Carolina Panthers. This balance with quarterback play, Brady Quinn, Jamal Charles puts the Chiefs over the top. The chemistry between Cam Newton and Steve Smith made this contest close. At the end of the day, the Chiefs were uniting. They were playing with a purpose, and this was a critical team win that they got at Arrowhead Stadium when their fan base needed it the most after such a tragic event on Saturday. The New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. New England was playing this game to get a piece of the AFC East, clinch the division, and lock things up. First quarter, Miami Dolphins muff a punt. New England scores a 2-yard run off of Stephen Ridley after stopping Miami on fourth down, after they muffed the punt by tackling the punter. Next Patriots possession, Tom Brady throws a pick. It's nearly ruled a pick six. Offsetting penalties keep the Dolphins from scoring. Left tackle Jake Long left this game injured. His season could be done. Good thing Miami drafted Jonathan Martin. Martin plays left tackle at Stanford, and he's a right tackle across from Jake Long most of the season. Martin's capable of filling that starting role because he protected Andrew Luck's blind side at Stanford. Still, Jake Long was a number 1 overall pick back in 2008. His presence will be missed, and Miami has a difficult time protecting Tannehill now. That right tackle slot is an open area. John Jerry's very pedestrian at right guard without a guy like Martin next to him at right tackle. So teams who've got left ends that can pass rush the quarterback are going to be able to exploit Miami relatively easily now. This would mark the second year in a row that Jake Long suffers a season-ending injury. Second quarter, Wes Welker catches a 7-yard pass from Tom Brady to make it 14-3. Welker would finish the day with 12 receptions, 103 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. It was 17-10 heading into the fourth quarter. It's time for another edition of Field Goal Wars. Gotowski, 32-yard field goal, 20-10. Then Dan Carpenter responds with a 33-yard kick, making it 20-13. Gotowski, 20-yard kick, 23-13. Carpenter, 42 yards. Patriots win 23-16. Arizona Cardinals versus the New York Jets. The Jets pulled Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow was injured, apparently ruled injured, according to Rex Ryan. The headline in this game was third stringer Greg McElroy throwing a touchdown pass that leads the Jets to a win in the fourth quarter. He's not ready to start, but he needs to be promoted from third stringer to backup on another team this offseason if the Jets want to keep this Mark Sanchez, Tim Tebow charade up that ESPN raves about on a daily basis to the point where it turns sports consumers off completely. San Francisco 49ers versus the St. Louis Rams. Last time these teams played at Candlestick Park, the game ended in a tie. This game also went to overtime. It almost ended in a tie before the Rams kicked a field goal to win with 26 seconds left. Colin Kaepernick looked sluggish in the game, and 49ers made a lot of mistakes thanks to him. At the end of the day, the Rams capitalized on a critical win in overtime that may have saved their season. The Rams are 5-6-1 and are going to need to win out if they have any chance of getting in as a wild card, which looks improbable at this point. Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. Texans won this game due to outstanding overall blocking and quarterback play from Matt Schaub. Schaub 21 for 35, 207 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Houston wins 24-10. The defense shows up, they shut down Jake Locker, and the pass protection gives Schaub a lot of time to make those necessary throws. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Denver Broncos. Denver won this game because their pass blockers kept Manning from getting hit. Both teams had under 100 rushing yards, so passing was critical in this contest. 3 touchdowns, the 1 pick for Manning, plus the Von Miller pick 6 from Josh Freeman that Freeman throws to Denver, puts Denver over the top. Demaryius Thomas had 2 receiving touchdowns. At the end of the day, Manning's heroics give Denver the win, and a great team effort by Denver's offense in the passing game, which leads to a critical Broncos win that gives Denver the AFC West. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh led 3-0 after 1 quarter. This is not a shock considering how Pittsburgh's defense plays at times. Baltimore owned the second quarter. 2 Jason Tucker field goals gave the Ravens a 6-3 lead. Baltimore followed that up with an Anquan Bolden touchdown from Joe Flacco, making it 13-3 Ravens. At this point in the game, a lot of Steeler fans were thinking, oh boy, the game's over. Ravens got this in the bag. Pittsburgh gets a field goal before halftime. Then they tie it up with the Dwyer run in the second half, making it 13 apiece. Ray Rice records a rushing touchdown that makes it 20-13 Ravens heading into the fourth quarter. Play carried on as usual in the fourth quarter. Batch throws a pass to Heath Miller for 23 yards. Another pass to Heath Miller. This one's intercepted by Ed Reed. Ravens would get the ball and have a chance to put the game away. James Harrison forces a fumble that Ziggy Hood recovers. Heath Miller scores in the following possession, making it 20-20. After a 12-yard pass, Torrey Smith, Steelers holds the Ravens defense to 3-and-out. Pittsburgh has 6 minutes, 14 seconds to execute a drive and win the game, and Charlie Batch comes into his own and cultivates himself during this moment, which may define the Steelers' season if they go on to win the Super Bowl. 3rd and 7, Charlie Batch, Mike Wallace. Steelers catch a pass, 15-yard game. Wallace follows that up with a 7-yard reception before an injury. Isaac Redman, 3 yards, gains us another first down. Antonio Brown, 4 yards, 2nd and 6, he gains another 9 yards. Wallace catches a 10-yard pass the following play. Paul Kruger, roughing the passer penalty. So the Ravens have to give up 25 yards in that play. Pittsburgh's able to run the clock out, and they win. And the game summary is pretty simple. There's no question this was a war of attrition. Batch showcased his ability as a game manager. Baltimore's run defense held Pittsburgh to under 100 yards, despite the absence of Ray Lewis, which is a major surprise. Batch won this game despite a shaky Steelers offensive line. Baltimore's offensive line did their part and gave Flacco plenty of time. When you got guys like Michael Orr, Ja Reed, Matt Burke, Marshall Yenda, Kaliche Osmele, Flacco has to deliver. Harrison deserves the credit for setting the tempo on Pittsburgh's defense. Flacco, 16 for 34, 188 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Disappointing outing on his part. I know Pittsburgh has the number 1 ranked run defense, but still, Flacco's got to play better than that. Batch exceeding expectations and Flacco having a poor outing leads to a marginal much-needed victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Browns Raiders. Cleveland wins this game because their run blocking and the balance on offense, 36 passing plays, 30 run plays. The run defense once again shows up with their depth at defensive tackle. They held the Steelers to 49 rushing yards. They hold the Raiders to 85 rushing yards. And that helps the Browns win 20-13. Cincinnati Bengals, San Diego Chargers. Bengals won this game with balance and run blocking despite some turnovers. San Diego threw it 48 times and only ran 11 times. That balance worked against the Chargers. We'll make a second video on Wednesday recapping the NFC East rivalry games because this video can only be 10 minutes long. Hope you enjoyed it.